actually flourish. There you go. So the WNBA. What do you guys think about it? I don't think about it much. So we've come to a point in the mostly sports talk show that we're going to get to the not sports part of it. So this part of the show is going to go into me giving my opinions about a couple of things that I've seen this week. If you guys know me out there, you know I have some pretty strong political opinions about what's going on, but just ranted about sports for an hour. I think you guys could give you a little bit of the mostly part of the sports talk show. Physical fitness. I'm 53 years old. I went to high school in the 80s, to grammar school in the 70s, grew up in Queens. Remember that day when you show up at high school and run that mile? Yeah. Oh, shit. That sucks. Guys, we got to run the mile today. Yeah, run the mile today. And the coach or the teacher wouldn't let you slack. You know, even if you had to walk, you would still walk. No one would sit down. It wasn't optional. It was statistics that were taken down by the schools to see if kids are healthy. Kids could actually do certain amount of physical things in a certain amount of time. That's all it is. That stopped in 2013. Started in the 50s. Everybody remembers that. Even there's jokes. Remember when I used to climb the rope in gym class? So Wayne's World joke. But the fact that President Trump is bringing that back and incorporating it back into the school system, the minute I say the name Trump, if you like him, let's go. Let's listen. If you don't like him, oh, there he goes, talking about Trump again. But can we focus on the one thing that I think is good about this? It's going to make kids think about maybe running, getting on their bike instead of sitting on their phone, maybe social media. Maybe they're going to, maybe they're going to exercise a little more because maybe they can't run that mile in class. And they're going to say, you know what, next year I'm going to get my time down. Or maybe they're going to join the track team because they didn't realize how good they were. Or maybe they're not going to really do that good at all. Maybe they just going to do it and accomplish something. But at the end of the day, it has everything to do with getting these kids moving, getting their blood going, instead of their fingers and their eyes looking at that screen, worrying about who's talking shit about them, worrying about talking shit about that person, worrying about the new trends on TikTok, worrying about the new trends on YouTube. I'm doing it right now. I got a YouTube channel. I'm also 53 and grew up in an era where we were out all the time. Stickball, handball, baseball, everything you could think of, we were out in the streets. 30 kids out there on a Friday night, 20 on a random during the week in the summer. Winter, you'd leave when the sun came up and you'd come back when the sun came down. Nobody knew where the hell you were. But you knew what you were doing. You weren't getting in any trouble. You were finding shit to do. I understand technology makes it a little easier now to kind of drift off into your, doom scrolling, as people say. Everybody does it. Do I think that kids should be without social media completely? No. Do I think there should be a healthy dose of activity, physical activity before? Yeah. Child obesity is at an all-time high. An all-time high. Kids are fat, man. They're fat because they're eating shit food. They're eating processed food. And I understand that the food is inexpensive, but it's set up that way. It's set up to make this country sick. Yeah, I'll go to McDonald's and I'll get a $2 burger. A $2 burger, let's get 4. Wendy's. Processed cookies. Listen, I am definitely part of that whole sweets regime. I can't see a chocolate chip cookie without eating it. Sugar is my downfall, and I know that. The whole process in the foods is what's killing us too. Processed foods. The whole process is put something in there that's going to addict our bodies to whatever's in it. We're so unhealthy. In our youth, that's where it starts. Again, when we were kids, we had to go into school and we had to do sit-ups, we had to do push-ups, we had to do whatever your school's protocol was for the physical fitness test. You had to do it in a certain time. And if you didn't, at least you did it. Learn about nutrition. Fine. Obama administration came in 2013 and got rid of it, made it voluntary and mostly about nutrition. Fine. Voluntary part, no. If you want to teach kids about nutrition and not give them the physical fitness aspect of it, because the fact that not everybody is as physically fit as the other, maybe that's the reason why. But it's okay. Everybody learns at different levels. Everybody gets physically fit at different levels. How many times have you seen these kids when they're young? I coached baseball. All these young kids hitting home runs when they're 10 years old. Some kids can barely get out of the infield. 14, 15 years old, same kid or better. There's growth spurts, but they have to do something with their physical abilities in order to not get fat also. So they got to eat right, got the nutrition part down. Also, you got to exercise. And, you got parents out there that ban social media. You can't have a phone. It's fine. But that's the way you choose to parent your kids. But this is a day and age where people have some kind of outlet for social media. It's not all bad. But there is a time frame where they should be using it at a young age. And as an adult, you should set yourself on a time frame. Go out for that run instead of doom scrolling. I know you guys are tired from work because I'm tired from work. I work 2 jobs. Tired. I still manage to get out there in the morning and do my push-ups and sit-ups. I'm not getting any younger. I try to eat okay. Trying to figure out what's wrong with me, if there is something wrong, because I want to be healthy. And the president right now incorporating that into the school system again is just saying to me that you have a problem with that, parents, just because Donald Trump said that, then you just got a problem with that person no matter what he says. You're going to go against it. Because we have a regime of people right now that are up here in this Northeast area. And it's going on over there in California too, and other states trying to get, a little socialism going on in this country, a little communism going on in this country. I mean, it's crazy, right? I was going to go into something now about the Epstein files a little bit. I'm not going to go too much into that because I feel I spoke about that too much and everybody's talking about it. I do think there's a little something weird about the Epstein files. And somebody brought this to my attention the other day, and it might sound like a conspiracy theory. I like my conspiracy theories. I know everybody thinks Donald Trump is on the Epstein list because he's on the flight logs. A lot of people on the flight logs. A lot of very popular, very famous people are on the flight logs. A lot of people trying to distance themselves from those flight logs. Bill Clinton was on that plane, I don't know, 50 times. Trump was on the plane. I don't know, you name your big actor, your big, your singers, your entertainers, they were there. I'm sure they weren't always there for the same reason. But what I do think is Donald Trump has some dirt. 60 plus countries in the last couple of weeks have renegotiated their tariff agreements with the United States of America. Now, I'm not going to talk about this as whether tariffs are good or bad. And, I actually think eventually if we do go through this tariff system, I think eventually stuff maybe will get a little less expensive. I think maybe people will start buying stuff in the United States of America. I have a really crazy view about how I feel about where we are in this world and where we should be. What if you're the president of China and there's a video of you out there having sex with a 13-year-old girl and you're getting all big and tough and you're saying, look, I know you guys are America, but we're China. We're better than you. You can't mess with us. No tariffs. We rule the world. Uh-uh. President, whatever his name is over there, we have a video of you doing naughty things. Really? Did you say 50%? How about a 75% tariff? Sure, no problem. Sign that deal. 60 plus countries have renegotiated their deals with President Trump in the United States of America. That means there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of shit to hide. Not that we didn't know that, but everybody's looking at these Epstein files as, oh, he's on it. He's he's a pedophile, or he's a piece of shit. He should be in jail. Yeah, they all should be. Every single person. But we're looking at it from a perspective of our entertainers. Yeah, we know they're pieces of shit, a lot of them. Yeah, they're probably on that list. The people, Diddy. Anybody thinks that, I cannot believe for a second that they're actually thinking of letting Diddy off of anything. The man beat the shit out of a 20-year-old girl, dragged her through a hotel, kicked her, and punched her. That's on video. People saw that. People watched it. It wasn't, it wasn't Notorious B.I.G. with a mask on. That was Puff Daddy beating that woman. He was on trial for doing heinous things to people. He was on trial for mentally abusing people, physically abusing people, human trafficking. And he got off on a lot of that. And at the end of the day, all you really had to do was look at that video to realize that every single thing that he was being accused of is true. Don't tell me that, they're going after certain people because of certain things. Maybe that might be true, but it doesn't take away from the fact that these people are evil. Every time I see Justin Bieber on a video, everybody thinks that's an act. It's not an act, guys. That kid is fucked up, man. Britney Spears. Her name hasn't been brought up in any of this, Epstein stuff, but she's fucked up from Hollywood, from the music industry. Meek Mill. Meek Mill made one of the hardest rap songs, hip hop songs ever. There's a video of him squealing from Puff Daddy. These are the people that are pure evil in this world. Epstein's pure evil. Everybody that was there for terrible reasons, they're terrible people too. Every time you think about something, and you think about life and how, look how good, how nice life is. You're doing the right thing. You have a family. Love my family to death. I would never do anything to hurt them. I would do anything. I would die for my children. It's just like that's, but then there's people out there that do things to their own children. They do things to other people. There's going to be names that come out on this list that we're just going to be like, wait a second, who's that? Yeah, exactly. Who's that? This is the thing that's pushing these narratives and running the world. So all these people that want this world money, human trafficking, guys, using humans for sex slaves. Do you even realize how terrible that sounds? And I don't understand why we can't try and just focus as a country on who's making laws to protect those interests. Well, it's a Republican, but we're Democrats. We can't vote. Oh, it's a Democrat. We're Republicans. We can't vote. How about everybody? And I understand this is not, I know Democrats may not, well, why don't we do it a couple of years ago when our guy was in office? Well, it's getting crazy now, man. It's getting crazy to a point where we don't even want to listen to each other if we know their party affiliation. How about today? We start thinking about the fact that let's get rid of party affiliations. Let's start coming together as people who have empathy and sympathy for other people and realize that there's a lot of very, very powerful people out there that are making decisions for people and they have no repercussions from it. All these people getting silenced. Why are they getting silenced? Why are you silent? If you're silent and have something on somebody, that means that that's somebody that you're being silent. They have something on you. It's a vicious cycle. Oh, I just didn't want to say anything. That's not the right answer anymore, man. Anybody out there knows stuff. Let's go. Ice Cube fighting good fight, man. I hope one day nothing comes out about him. But you listen to him all the time. Everybody thinks he's crazy. He's not crazy. Cat Williams, everybody thinks he's crazy. He's not crazy. Mel Gibson's not crazy. Well, Mel Gibson might be a little crazy. But what he's saying, why aren't we looking into these things? There's a documentary by Mel Gibson and Jim Caviezel that came out. Where is it? That thing should be shown to every single American. There's stuff going on in Thailand right now that's heinous. There's stuff happening to actual human beings around the world. You're ripping off Barstool. All right, Ramo. I don't know how your name is. Ripping off Barstool. As a matter of fact, you just said something. Family. You're right. Family. Family is the thing. And that's what they're trying to get away from, dude. If you want to see what's going on in New York City right now, because I don't really know, where you're from or whatever, but that is kind of what I'm getting to. You got this guy Mandani running for New York City mayor. I left New York City a long time ago. I live upstate New York. Kathy Hochul is here. Can't stand her either. That's why my escape plan for New York State is in operation as we speak. There's 4 people that are running for New York City mayor. You got good old Zohan. Now, I just dug up a couple things on the Zohan that if you're thinking about voting for this guy in New York City, you should have your head examined. And if I could put it into perspective of you idiots on the left, I don't even say Democrats, I just say idiots on the left. If you listen to some of this ranting and raving about some of these people that are backing this Mandani, this socialist / communist agenda, you should have your head checked. There's actually people out there. How about this? There's actually people out there. It's actually homosexual people out there that are putting people in office that if they had their way, they'd probably have them killed because of the way they live their lives. But yeah, Trump's mean. Zohan, I'm going to get into him in a second. Curtis, Guardian Angel Sliwa. Every year he tries to throw his beret into it. Get it? Beret, hat. Nothing's going to happen with that guy. Look, I get it. He's tough. He wants to just beat everybody up, which is great. He wants to just kick everybody's ass, which is great. Get everything off the streets. That's fine too. He's not going to win. Then he got, good old Andrew Cuomo taking a step back. Resigned, which I think he resigned because he called a couple of women honey and baby. But that's just my opinion. But people in nursing homes, I'm sure, don't like him too much. A lot of nursing homes in New York City. So he's not a big, there's a lot of people that had family members in those nursing homes that really aren't a fan of his much. Mayor Adams. What are you doing, dude? Let's go. Let's do what you do, man. Shut this chick up. Hochul's talking a lot of stuff about you, man. Saying you're turning your back on the Democratic Party. So the guy Mandani talking about you. Cuomo saying he's got no shot. Yo, you're the mayor right now, man. Let's take care of business. You know what I'm saying? You do know what I'm saying. He's going to probably go back to being a drug dealer or something after this or whatever it is he does. But why not just leave him? Leave him in power. He'll fight the good fight, I guess, against people that he doesn't agree with. And, he'll kind of keep the migrants out. He'll fight the sanctuary city thing a little bit. Because if you let this guy Mandani become the mayor of New York City. This is going to be the worst New York City that anybody is used to in a long time. I was a kid in the 70s. My dad was a cop in the 70s in New York City. You had your A beams and you had your people, like that. Koch was actually kind of a liberal minded guy, but he was actually pretty good. You had Dinkins back in the day. New York City has never really been known for its mayors. Giuliani cleaned up the mafia a little bit, I guess. You know, took everybody's cars when they were drunk driving. What do you mean you're taking my car? I told you don't drive drunk. We're gonna take your car. Had that Gestapo mentality. Bloomberg came in and tried to make New York City business like turned 42nd Street into instead of hookers and porn shops, turned it into like Disneyland. You know, then all of a sudden, he's starting to see all these characters running around Disneyland. Like, take a picture with Mickey and Minnie. Yeah, Mickey and Minnie. Where's your green card? Yeah, Mickey and Minnie. Are you a child molester? Then all of a sudden, it starts changing again. Then De Blasio comes. Oh my God. That was a disaster. Now we're talking about the Zohan. Now, you want to go into people who back certain candidates and say, that's who that guy is? All that rhetoric about people backing Trump a couple of years ago about, all these militias backing him, and you say the KKK backs him, which is not true, or people with racist agendas back Trump. Take a listen to one of these, one of these people, one of these groups that are backing the Zohan. There was a conference, all right? This is real, and it's going to sound outrageous, just like there's a lot of real outrageous right-hand conferences as well. They say crazy shit. This is America. People are allowed to say whatever they want. I truly believe that free speech is of the utmost importance in America. Utmost important. Without free speech, none of the other amendments or the Bill of Rights or the Constitution, you name your laws that we go by in this country, without free speech, none of that happens. It's paramount. There's a conference called the Socialism Conference of 2025. It took place in Chicago. This is a group that's backing Mandani. As a matter of fact, at this conference, they were praising this guy, how he won the Democratic primary, how he's going to be the next mayor of New York City, Chicago, New York City, Cincinnati. Pick your liberal bullshit baby mayor cities. That's what we're going to become. All of a sudden, it's going to be okay for a group of black people to beat up a family and have them say that it's not a racial incident, to say it was a fight. Because you don't want to have that unwanted, stigma on your city that happens. Absolutely happens. This is what happens when you get this mentality into your city. There's a panel that wants to destroy the family, destroy the traditional family, which, look, the traditional family today is not like the traditional family was back then, but it's still family. I understand, like, a lot of people aren't into the whole gay marriage thing and them adopting children. In my eyes, that's still a family. Just because it's two men and two women raising somebody, raising a child whose parents didn't want them, whose mom didn't want them. They were put up for adoption for a reason. Traditional family. Traditional family, that just means to me, you're good parents and you're raising your child as a good member of society. These people are trying to say that traditional family is racist, capitalist. It should be done away with. Children are being used as vehicles, as property. They want to abolish the family. Montani just got married the other day. That's pretty traditional, right? He's also got a lot of money. Look, he makes, what he makes 140 something thousand a year being an assemblyman. Who knows what, left organizations are feeding this agenda. He basically wants us to run this country like it's a big commune, which is what somebody else said at this conference. I'm not going to give these people the legitimacy of a name, but this is an agenda that we're fighting. Now, look, I'm talking about this agenda that's an extreme left. I could have somebody coming on here and tell me there's an agenda on the extreme right. Of course there is. I'm saying it again, and I feel like I have to say it like I say it all the time. I voted for Donald Trump. Do I agree with everything that's going on in the White House right now with the United States of America? No. Do I think that this stuff being handled in a way that could be handled differently? Absolutely. That still doesn't take away from the fact that I voted for Donald Trump. I don't deal with that shit. But he is our president. I did vote for him, and I'll do it again. But there's a lot of people on that extreme right, Christian nationalists, maybe, or people that want to inject the church into us, and people that want to tell us what to do with our bodies, and people want to tell us that we can't, get married because, you're gay and, you're going to hell. And just as that left agenda sounds like that to people, that sounds like that to people as well. How many of you in this world are very confused by your party right now? You're very confused because they're telling you a bunch of stuff and they're focusing on the stuff that's going to get you, yes, going to get you mad. It's going to be, yeah, fuck those migrants. And yeah, exactly. Don't tell me what I could do to my body. And yeah, transgender. I'm going to chop my dick off. Yeah, I don't care. It's like all these agendas being put out there. And at the end of the day, America's in trouble. It really is. There's a loud voice on the left and there's a loud voice on the right. Free speech and don't tell me what I can and can't do with my body. That's what these guys want, right? That's what everybody wants. But there's got to be something in the middle that says, all right, maybe you don't agree with that. And maybe you agree with this, but we got to come to the middle. Again, I keep telling you, I lost friendships with people because I believe a certain way, not knowing that I actually understand how they feel, but it's not that goddamn important to me. My family's a lot more important. My safety's a lot more important. A lot more important. Okay. Big news. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are going to get together in Alaska. They might invite Zelensky. They may not. But I think he should be there because that's literally what they're going to be talking about. What if this is just a ploy to get, to get Putin on American soil and arrest him? Putin's not that stupid. Guy's murdered a lot of people. You want to look at leaders that are bad people, like, Vladimir Putin, like that's a bad guy. Donald Trump just talks out of the side of his mouth sometimes. Donald Trump just tells the truth sometimes. Is he a narcissist? Possibly. Maybe. I think so. Some people might say he's not. But I think that his narcissism and his drive to be the best and to tell people what he's going to do and follow through, yeah, I think that's a good thing. That's a good quality of a president. And then do I think he loves America? Absolutely. Do I think this left-leaning agenda loves America? Absolutely not. These Columbia professors, these Ivy League professors pumping an agenda to these kids with these young minds. They're like sponges. Then all of a sudden they're out there running around trying to burn the American flag, and then they get the shit beat out of them by a Marine. I'm like, wait, where's my professor? It has to stop. It makes me very sad. Go ahead, New York. Go ahead. I like this guy. I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to be retiring from my job soon, and I'm getting the hell out of New York in general. Possibly sell my house. I'd like to sell my house, but I'll tell you right now, I'm waiting till that guy becomes the mayor. Everybody in New York City that didn't vote for him, within a month, you're going to be running out of New York. That flee from New York City, if he becomes the mayor, is going to be worse than the COVID flee. Remember when we were lied to? Yeah. Yeah, COVID, when we were lied to. I got the vaccine. Got it. You don't get that vaccine, you're going to die. If you don't get that vaccine, if you get the vaccine, you're never going to get COVID. Don't worry about it. Yeah. How many people having complications from that shit now? From a lie. So, you want to say Trump again, he's a bully. You want to say Trump, he says things that are crazy. You want to say Trump is an asshole. Yeah, but you know what? I don't think he's a liar. I just don't. And people right now probably listening to me right now going, I can't look at you. You're a sheep. But no, I don't think he's a liar. I think we've been being lied to for the last 4 years. And I think the fact that that election was fixed, and I think it was a good thing that it was fixed, because if Trump won that election in 2020, what the hell were we going to do now? We need that man right now. We need people like RFK. We need people like Tulsi Gabbard. Now, listen, Tulsi Gabbard's going on. Tulsi Gabbard is going a little too far with one thing. Not that I don't think she's right. Not that I don't think she's right. This prosecution of Obama. Everybody knows if they go after Obama and Obama is sitting up there on the stand trying to say that, stick up for himself and saying that I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I'm not a bad guy, I was just the president, everybody loved me. And they put him on trial, this country will be over. Over. Think about every single one of these instances that racially divide our country, all wrapped up into one in every single state, in every single city, in every day. They go after Obama. It's not going to be, all right, well, let's look at the facts. Let's look at not the facts. It's going to be they arrested the first Black president. Are we ready for that? No, I'm not. That's crazy to say. I want to push forward with all this stuff. I want to push forward with all this racial shit. Family in Cincinnati, I felt so bad for them. Now, look, maybe the guy did say the N-word, father. I don't know. I don't know. That video showed two men fighting. Even one more fighting. Let's just play devil's advocate here and say that man called the other man the N-word. Completely out of line. Guy punches him in the face. They start rolling around fighting. Maybe one of his buddies takes umbrage to it and says, they punched the son, whatever. They got jumped. They got beat up because of the color of their skin. And if nobody sees that, nobody wants to have that conversation and say that because they're scared, wake the fuck up, because we are never, ever going to go forward until we realize the color of each other's skin is irrelevant to the fact that we need to start getting along and stop kowtowing to an agenda that says the color of our skin makes us different. No, look inside people. And if you fall into that, you're a weak-minded person. Nobody wants to be told that they're weaker than somebody else. And that's what's going on. And it's been going on for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. Years. I had somebody on TikTok tell me, and mind you, this is somebody that worked in my union for a very long time. Well-known racist in my union. He's a Black man. I'm not going to mention his name. I have a video on TikTok where I talked about American history and, where I learned certain things. And this, he starts to tell me that if you know so much about American history, what do you know about Jim Crow laws? I read up on Jim Crow laws. I know what it was. I know what it is. I know what it did. It was wrong. And then proceed to tell me how dumb I was because of my white privilege. I thought to myself for a second, white privilege. Why do we even get mad when somebody says that to us? I'm just asking. It's not true. That was true, you know. Remember that skit from Saturday Night Live in like the 80s with Eddie Murphy? Eddie Murphy dressed up like the white guy, got on the bus, black guy gets on the bus, black guy gets off, and everybody starts cheering, having a party. What, you think that's how it is? What, you think my life wasn't any difficult than somebody else's because of the color of their skin? I don't know. I'd say there's a lot of people out there that have a different color skin than other people, and they've had a pretty difficult life. Do I think that there's been laws in the past and laws right now that do hold people back because of the color of their skin? Absolutely. And that as white people, we have to get past. We have to start getting away from the visual of looking at somebody before we even getting to know them. At the end of the day, guys, that's what it's about, man. They want this to happen and they really want us to be separate and be in our own clans and our own tribes. It's this way they can control us. America, fuck that. Let's all get together and tell the government that we're not happy with this. I don't care what he is. I don't care what she is. We're Americans and we're mad. That's it. All right, guys, that's the Mostly Sports Talk Show, and I'm going to deal with Barstool because Sam and the Ram, both 1-3, have brought it to my attention that I guess somebody from Barstool has the same name as the Mostly Sports Show. Well, I'm going to have to contact that person, and maybe he's going to get this video. And as a matter of fact, cease and desist may not be that bad. I may have to change the name, but somebody's going to know who the fuck I am. The Mostly Sports Talk Show on Keep Talking 365 at YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, guys, every Sunday.